Hello, hello. Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome back to the Queen Amadaj Shakur Show. So, as you're coming in, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure you click the notification bell and click the word all so that you are notified every time that I go live. Hello, Rain, Eon, Rosemary, son of Bland, son of Blaine. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. I have some more information about the Breonna Taylor case. Interesting news, everyone. Hello, Estella and Mickey. Atulha. Kevin. Grand rising to you. So, everyone, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Queen Amadai Shakur, on Twitter at DGoddess27. Okay, Lamarcus and Boulder and Donovan, Cassie. Yes, Eris, Asaph. Okay, thank you, lovely people, for tuning in. So, let me go ahead and get into it. Goodness rated Bo, hello. Ivy, Glamour. Let's get into it, people. More exposure, okay, as the days go by. I had to take notes because this information, let me give my disclaimer. I can't confirm or deny any of the information that I'm about to give you. This information came directly from the mouth of Kendrick L. Wilson, the young man who I played you the audio of talking to Sam Aguiar, and then I played you a video of him talking. Remember, when I played the video, I wasn't sure if he was the same man on the audio with Sam Aguiar, but he says that was him. Okay, because we didn't see his visuals on there, we only heard his voice. So yes, he says that was him on both of those, and this is the information that he has. Okay. Hello, King Avery. Candy is in the house. Hold your own nuts. Oh my goodness. King Avery Black Power. Okay, and Monique. So listen, here's what he has to say, people. He says, as it pertains to the officer who was fired, the one who was also charged with 3 counts of wanton endangerments, Brett Hankerson. Now, let me tell you about him. He says that he and Brett Hankerson had a history, okay? He and Brett Hankerson had a history. Hello, One Muscle Power. Thanks for tuning in. So he says that they had a history together. Now, here's the thing. He and Brett Hankerson had 4 altercations, all right? They had 4 altercations because he was actually messing around with a couple of women that Brett Hankerson was messing with. Now, Brett Hankerson being a cop as he was, and likely a corrupt cop from the things we've heard, but he says that Brett Hankerson, in fact, planted drugs on him, started harassing him, just stopping him for different things or whatever, making up reasons to have confrontations with him, and even planted drugs on him on at least 2 occasions. I believe 3 occasions. He said 3. They had 4 altercations, but of the 4, 3, he planted drugs on him. Now, he went against Brett Hankerson in courts by himself. And what he did was, he said on the one occasion that Brett planted the drugs on him, he was caught on his own body cam. Okay, that's how he was busted. And then the second time, his girlfriend, Kendrick's girlfriend, she happened to record Brett Hankerson planting the drugs on him. So he beat him on those cases. And then he just had another case against him recently. And he beat him on that one because more likely than not, by the fact that they saw he planted drugs on him the first 2 times, that's likely how he beat him the third. Now, with that all being said, here's how he started working for Sam Aguiar, the attorney, the white attorney that's working for the Taylor family, right? Breonna's family. He says that Sam Aguiar saw him in courts when he beat Brett Hankerson. Sam Aguiar came to him afterwards and asked him, man, how did you beat Brett Hankerson? He's the dirtiest cop in Louisville. He's known for being the dirtiest cop in Louisville. How did you beat him? And so he was impressed by his intelligence because he beat this man by himself without an attorney, right? So with that all being said, Sam Aguiar enlisted his help in the Breonna Taylor case. Now, he says that Sam paid him like $18,000, $18,500 in 2 months, and would have given him more had he continued. But here's what happened. He says he saw the crime scene footage, the videos, the pictures, and everything. And they were lying when they said nobody had on body cams, as I've already told you. They were lying. He said the SWAT team came in there and they recorded everything. And he said he had never had such anxiety in his life before until he saw the video of Breonna's dead body lying in that hallway, lying there not far from her bedroom, just, shot up in the hallway. That really disturbed him. He also said that by the fact they said Mattingly was supposedly shot like in the foyer as he stepped across the threshold. They said, if you notice, when they brought Kenneth Walker out of the house, yes, and he was still a cop, absolutely, okay, because his mayo, and he said so, Rain. But they said on the night of the incident, when they brought Kenneth Walker out of the house, they said that Kenneth Walker, he said the same thing I said. Listen, he said, they said Kenneth Walker was hiding in a bedroom, in the guest bedroom, right? And he said, he asked the question, he said, how was he hiding in the bedroom with his cell phone? But they say he was in the hallway with a gun, and he'd likely have been holding the gun with both hands, because that's what Mattingly said. Remember, he said he came through, someone's 20 feet away. There's two people 20 feet away, a woman and a man. The man had his arms outstretched holding a gun. He said, how could that have happened? And he'd been in the bedroom on the phone, on his cell phone at the same time. I told you guys this. So, and another thing is, he said that when they walked Kenneth Walker outside, or they told him to come outside, rather, they told him to come outside with his hands up and all that. They said if Mattingly was in the threshold, right, if he was shot in the femoral artery, there would have been a lot of blood. How come there was no blood on Walker's feet? Because he didn't have on shoes. So why wasn't there any blood on his feet? I told you guys that too. I told you weeks ago. I said if he was shot in the threshold, as soon as he busted in the door, as he said, and he saw people standing 20 feet away, and they started shooting, and he returned fire and shot 4 times, like he said, and then he was hit in the femoral, I said, where was the blood? Because on the crime scene photos, there was no blood. I told you this, right? So anyway, with that all being said, the truth is coming to light. Yes, Queen Trinity. And hold up, there's more. So then he says that on the night of the shooting, they got a private doctor. Yes, they got a private doctor to tend to Officer Mattingly. Here's why. Now, he says that Mattingly's wound, where he was shot in the thigh, they said there was an exit wound, right? But he said there was no exit wound. The bullet didn't come out. It was still in his leg. They had to create an exit wound. So they got a private doctor, and the way you could tell is because his leg was shaved, okay? His leg was shaved before he ever got to the hospital. Said his leg was shaved, and it was shaved because they had to create an exit wound. Now, this is what Kendrick says they had to create an exit wound because they had to remove the bullets, because otherwise the ballistics test would have proven that Kendrick Walker's gun didn't fire that damn bullet. Didn't I tell you guys this weeks ago? I'm telling you, I should have been a detective on the scene. I'm telling you, it's exactly what he said. Said they shaved his leg, a private doctor shaved his thigh area, removed all the hair, and made a bullet, made an exit point, and removed the bullets. So that's why they couldn't prove that Kendrick fired the shots. That's why they couldn't prove it. Now, how crazy is that? I told you guys that more likely than not, he was shot by friendly fire from Brett Hankerson's gun. But hold on, there is more. So listen to this. Remember the guy that I told you about, David James. David James, who is the head of the council, the city council, who is the one who holds the purse strings, who is the one who agrees or disagrees when they want to pay out a settlement, right? So with the fact that Breonna Taylor's family received the $12 million so quickly, and it would likely have come from the city council under the advisory of David James. But then David James came forward and said he knew nothing of it. They didn't discuss it with him. They never briefed him. There was no deposition. They just gave this money to the family, and nobody knew about it from the council. Well, of course, that's because it was likely hush money. They wanted them to stop talking about it. But David James pretended he had no clue, no idea, right? Let me tell you about David James. And he went to blame it on Mayor Fisher. Because remember, Mayor Fisher is the one who agreed to pay out the money so quickly. And as I told you, there was someone else that had a case in Louisville, and they got their $4 million after a whole decade. They just got it like 3 weeks ago. So that all being said, David James tried to throw Mayor Fisher under the bus and blame it all on him. But in fact, Kendrick says that he already talked to David James. He's been trying to get to him for 2 years, trying to set up meetings, but David James refused. And David James is apparently Black, because Kendrick kept talking about how these Black leaders don't do anything for our people. These Black leaders, how they're the main ones. He said he went to David James. He went to a couple of pastors. And let me tell you their names for those of you who live in Louisville. Okay. He says it was Pastor, I think he said Tim Philamy, and then Reverend Cosby. 2 Black pastors that he says he went to along with David James, trying to get them to assist him and reporting Brett Hankerson and other corrupt things that was going on, because he said Brett Hankerson has numerous Black men from Newburgh, and those of you who live in Louisville, you know where Newburgh is. He had many Black men from Newburgh arrested on fraudulent drug charges, and some of them have been in there for a decade at least. Okay, because he planted drugs on them, and people knew, even the police department supposedly knew, that he was planting drugs on Black men. But nobody did anything about it. And guess what? Here's where it gets good, people. Now, mind you, David James, he had tried to talk to him. Kendrick said he tried to arrange meetings and everything, had called him for 2 years, nothing. He wouldn't help him, wouldn't assist him, none of that, right? Wouldn't even listen. But now, guess what? He says David James, he finally wanted to talk to him. So Kendrick took David James some of the evidence that he had about the Breonna Taylor case. Well, with that all being said, he says 2 days later, in fact, on Juneteenth, he says that David James called him into the office. And he went there, and I wrote notes on this because I don't want to leave out a thing. He says he went there to the office to meet with him. David James shook his hand and said, "Thank you. Thank you for all that you have given me." He said, "Now I want you to know that Breonna Hankerson is going to be fired." So with that all being said, they didn't likely even fire Breonna Hankerson for what he did at the apartment that night. They likely fired him because Kendrick had this information that he was a dirty cop who was planting drugs on people, had people in prison, and not only that, had planted drugs on Kendrick, and Kendrick had the proof because he'd already beaten him in courts. So they didn't want that to come out, because how would that look when this officer was also involved in the slaying of Breonna Taylor with a fraudulently obtained no-knock warrant? Do you hear me? This is what they do, people. The devils. This is what they do on a daily, no doubt. So yes, so he said after that, that's when David James wants to, compliment him and all of that and everything. Yes. Absolutely. So I'm trying to make sure I didn't leave out anything. But yes, this is all the information, as I said. Now, as I said, I can't verify this. I'm just telling you what Kendrick L. Wilson said. But currently, he has to be careful. He has to have security, because this information he's exposing could literally cost him his life. Okay? And he said another thing. He said when Sam Aguiar gave him the $18,500, Sam Aguiar was supposed to give him another $20,000. And he was going to take that money and leave the city before he exposed all of this, because he knew his life would be in danger. But he ended up getting into that confrontation that you all heard, because I played the audio for you. He ended up getting into that confrontation with Sam because he got so sick and tired and upset that Sam wouldn't release the information to the public, that he didn't. He refused, talking about he didn't want to get put off of the case. And here's another thing too. He also said that one of the reasons he feels that Sam came to him to get him to assist is not only because he's smart and he saw how he handled himself in court against Brett Hankerson, the most, supposedly, according to him, the most dirty cop in Louisville, but he said also because Sam knew that he had a case against the city that was worth approximately $4 million. And so likely Sam wanted to get his share of that, wanted to, get in good with him or whatever, I guess is what he was saying, to be his attorney for that case when he gets his money for suing the city. Okay? For all of those fraudulent arrests with drugs being planted on him by Brett Hankerson. So there you have it, people. Such a filthy tale. Okay? Rot with all kinds of lies, corruption, cover-ups, and everything else that you can think of that is nefarious, no doubt. Now, this is all so crazy. Now, when you factor in all of this information that Kendrick has just told us, let me tell you something. You haven't heard anything yet because he has a whole lot more information, but he doesn't want to give that information up right now. So basically, he's waiting to go to court. That's where he wants to expose the rest of it. He wants to do that in a courtroom. And here's the sad thing, people. Let me tell you something. Some idiotic Black people, niggerants, shall I say, they were talking about, they were like, oh, a few of them were like, oh, I don't know if I believe him, this, that, and the third, and why should I believe him? Let me tell you something about them fools. First of all, what does he have to gain from lying? Like, here's my thing. Who in their right mind is going to say things about the police that literally put their life in danger for no reason? Who does that, right? We know how the police are. We know how they retaliate. We know how they intimidate, harass, and do whatever the hell they want to do, especially to Black people, because they can get away with it, right? So we know all of that. So why would he put himself in harm's way by saying this stuff if it weren't true? And at the end of the day, what is he gaining from it? Because he's not getting paid for it. You know what I'm saying? And then even the money that Sam Aguiar gave him, the $18,500, he didn't even have to tell us about that. So that's how ignorant some of them are. And by the way, speaking of that money, he says that he has the receipts and everything to prove every transaction from where the money was given. And in fact, he says that he believes that Sam was trying to get him in with the corruption, right? And within the cover-up, because he was offering him more money or whatever. So anyway, I just think that some Black people are so ridiculous. And just like we said, like if a white man was exposing this information, all the Negroes would be here for it. They would all collectively, right? And I'm not talking about us intelligent Black people who use critical thinking skills and common sense. I'm talking about the sheeple of our people. Those people would be so believing it if it was a white man saying it and looking at him as a savior. But because it's a Black man, right? Not a wealthy Black man, not somebody from the elite society or whatever, just a regular Black man. Oh, so now they want to say he has a motive. Well, whether or not he had a motive, he's putting the truth out there, and he's got people like Daniel Kuhn running for cover. That's why he's asked for another week to get his BS together before he releases those transcripts. Let's just all sit back and see what he redacts from them at the end of the day, because there's going to be information removed. And he says that it's just to hide the people's names and all of that, to protect the witnesses and all this, that, and the third. Yeah, we will see. We will see, because I have a feeling that more of a cover-up is ensuing at this moment as we speak. Okay? That's what I think, people. Everyone, please go ahead and like this video, share this video. This news needs to get out, people. I'm telling you, please share this video on numerous platforms and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And let me say this. The young man, Kendrick L. Wilson, he has been banned from Facebook. He's been blocking all of that, like I told you guys. He can't get on there, any of that. They don't want any of this information getting out. Why would they be blocking him and all of that stuff, right? They don't. And then here's another thing. He said he went to some news outlets, right? I believe he said the New York Times. Yes, he definitely said them. And so apparently the mainstream media in Louisville, I guess they're not trying to cover the story. Okay? They don't want to talk about it. Because you know why? They don't really, in my opinion, want to expose their corrupt, nefarious LMPD. I don't think that's what they want to do. Okay? You see, let's not forget that the media works in collusion and in concert, right, with the police to paint narratives, especially as it pertains to Black people. This is what they do. And that is why when Black people are the victims of heinous crimes perpetuated by none other than the Miracle Whip Mafia, the media will often go digging up dirt, trying to find things to demonize and vilify the Black people to, in fact, make them look like they deserved whatever they got. And you know what? Foolishly, many are racist devils. They go for it because that's all they need is an excuse. They don't care whether you're guilty or not. They don't care whether you did something wrong. They don't care. They don't care. All they will do, these racist demons and devils, is try to bring black people down in any way they can. And they will always uphold the crooked cops. Okay? Not the good cops. I'm not talking about them. There is a few, such as the NYPD 12, the ones who put a lawsuit against the police department in New York for being corrupt and for telling them to go out here and target black men and Hispanic men. Yes, that's what they allege. So with that all being said, for the devious, low down, no good, dirty thugs and badges and uniforms, and those of you who go out here and act and behave as none other than domestic terrorists, yes, those are the ones that the media works in collusion with and in concert with to paint narratives to make the black people the bad guys, when we all know who the bad guys are. Because you see, people, if you're wondering why you haven't seen the KKK lately marching around, parading around in their white robes and their white hats that look like cone heads, which is clearly what they have, well, the reason you haven't seen them is because many of them are now working for the police department. You see, they have turned in those robes for police uniforms, and many of them have black robes, and they sit behind a bench with a gavel in hand, issuing out sentences, okay, of maximum proportions to black people, while simply giving the Mayo Clinic, the Miracle Whip Mafia, slaps on the wrist. That's what they do. Yes, absolutely, Maya. They are too busy wearing blue. Bill Moore says coneheads. Yes, that's absolutely what they are. Demons and devils in low vibrational frequency having. And if you want me to prove my points, all you have to do is look at the videos I've posted about the sick, demented, crazy, racist, pig-faced dog that continues to email moi with all types of nefarious BS, okay? Just look at those videos. Thank you, True Justice. Yes, they are all exposed, and I will continue to expose them. Let me tell you something. As soon as any information comes out, I don't care what time of day it is, I'm going to be here on it. Now, I actually got this information about 5 o'clock in the morning, okay? 5 o'clock in the morning. And I wanted to go live right there, and trust me. KKK has got 3-piece suits. Okay? Thank you. Jay Lava says you go hard. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And listen, people, I really need you guys to share my videos because ScrewTube literally has me shadow banned. Okay? And you know that is why some of you don't get my notifications, because when people are speaking too much truth, and especially when you are having a pro-black platform, they will try to stifle your growth. Robert says, check your email. Okay, great. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. I certainly will. So with that all being said, make sure you share this video and like the video. Give it a thumbs up. Okay, so that we draw more people into the algorithm. Hold on just a second. I'm checking my email. KKK creating that vaccine. Absolutely, Triple Darkness. You're reporting. Okay, listen. I have more information. Thank you, Robert. I have more information. This is hold on. Did I already? I think I'm at, hold on. Let me see something. Hold on. Hold on, people. I'm trying to turn this volume on so I can hear this. Okay, people, listen. This is Kendrick L. Wilson talking about somebody said they're going to kill him. I told you this could cost him his life. I'm going to let you see this video that he posted. Robert, thank you for sending this to me. Robert is my private investigator who works ever so diligently, right, to get me the scoop. Okay.
So look, they just had they dude, the government. I know exactly who they little guy is. They got running around doing all their cleanup work. He just called me pretty much, told me that if I keep going with this, or I keep doing what I'm doing, pretty much he's gonna kill me. We just got off the phone with each other, so don't let them tell y'all there's no phone trick or anything if something happened tonight. Bottom line is, the shit super serious. Their main hitter just called my phone. I've been knowing him, he been knowing me. I know what he does for the government. I know what he does for the governor and the mayor and all them. Bottom line, he just called my phone and just threatened my life pretty much. So it is what it is, y'all. So they just called and pretty much threatened my life and asked me, am I sure I want to keep doing what I'm doing, and do I understand what the consequences and repercussions are? Yeah, I do, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. So they just called and pretty much threatened my life and asked me, am I sure I want to keep doing it?
Prayers out to Kendrick L. Wilson. I told you guys, this is serious business. They're going to try to kill this black man, not only because of everything he's doing with the Breonna Taylor case, but also because he's actually, what I didn't even tell you guys, is he's fighting now to get those black men who were falsely convicted, wrongfully convicted, due to Brett Hankerson planting drugs on them. He's been fighting, spending his money to try to get them out. You see, some of the idiot, niggerant black people who were saying they didn't trust him. Why would this man put his life on the line? Like I said, but also they were saying, oh, he's in it for the money. What money? He has a settlement coming from the city. He also owns a barbershop. He also works at Ford, making over $30 an hour. Okay. So no, it's not like he's hurting for money. At the end of the day, he has been spending his money trying to help these black men who have been put in prison out in Newburgh, thanks to Brett Hankerson. And he's been exposing this and trying to get assistance with it for over 2 years. No thanks to David James, all right, the head of the city council, who wouldn't even listen to him until this all happened and everything started getting exposed. May the Most High's protection be upon this brother. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. So, yes, definitely pray for our brother. That's right, AMAX. So, with that all being said, family, this is serious business. And as you can see, these demons and devils will do anything and stop at nothing to get what they want. This is what they do. And it's a shame. Let me tell you something. This is what I want to tell you guys. You know, I want you to pay attention to something. Here in the divided snakes of America, black people, this is where black people, the home of the free and the land of the brave and all of that. No, it's not. It is not, okay? It's the home of white supremacy and the land of the slaves. That's what it is. And let me tell you something. This is the place where a black person can get killed for being armed. They can get killed for being unarmed. They can get killed for complying, like Philando Castile. They can get killed for not complying, like Eric Garner. They can get killed for doing nothing, like Tamir Rice. You can get killed just for being black. You get killed for seeking justice, like the protesters who lost their lives, those of them who were blinded by the hail of the rubber bullets with the metal shards inside. You can get killed and your family demands justice, but they'll get none. This is the home of all of that. And this is where we are, under siege and behind enemy lines. Black people, I'm going to need you to arm yourselves, defend yourselves, get ammunition, get weapons. I'm going to keep telling you this because I need you all to do it. And you need to be going to the shooting range. You need to be target practicing. You need to be prepared to defend yourself, your life, and your family. And if anybody tries to take your life, you better die trying to take theirs back. Don't just go out begging and pleading on your knees if you can help it. If somebody tries to take your life, you try to take theirs first, because that is your God-given right. We don't have to worry about what the man's law says. You worry about God's law, because man cannot tell you whether or not you can fight for your life, whether or not you can defend yourself. I don't give a damn if you live in a stand your ground state. If somebody's trying to take your life, you do everything in your power to defend yourself to the best of your capacity. And I would rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. And you remember that. That's what you need to remember, because these demons, they are on the job every day, all day, 24/7 and 365. And they're not playing any games. So our people need to get off of the playground and get on the battlefield and face them head on, eye to eye, dead in the face. And if anything goes, then you better be ready to go too. Now, I'm not saying take to the streets as vigilantes, because that's what they do. You see, that is what makes them different from us. We are humane because we are the children of Yah, the Most High. They are the children of the son of the seeds of Satan, the seeds of Cain. That is who they are. That's why they are so nefarious and egregious in their practices. That is why they form so many councils of craftiness and wickedness and evilness against us. That is why they want to take us off of the planet. They are our lifelong adversaries, and they will remain as such as long as they have the system of white wannabe supremacy that upholds them. And even those of them who are nice and cordial and smile with us, yet they still themselves know for facts they don't want to tear down the walls of white supremacy, because the thing that they all fear, though they may not say it, is that if we ever come to power, that we will do exactly to them what they have for centuries done to us. Okay? But what they fail to realize is we don't want them enslaved. We wouldn't want them cooking our food, cleaning our houses. We wouldn't want them around us. The only thing we want that they need to realize, except, of course, for the Sambos and plantation man, is excluded. But I'm talking about the rest of us. The only thing we want is them to separate. Stay the hell away from us. We don't need you. We don't want you. We can't live with you in peace. We have tried it, and tried it. And I'm going to tell you why I call them demons. You see, for years, I have studied demonology, right? That is one of my specialties. I'm an expert in it. And one thing that I know about a demon, first of all, they never travel alone. If someone has one demon, they've got at least 7 more behind that one, more wicked than the first. And here's another thing too. And tell me if this doesn't describe them. You see, demons, if you wondered why racist white folk, the Mayo Clinic, why they can't just let us alone, you know, there are some people of other ethnicities who in fact don't like black people, but do they go around bothering you and making bogus calls on a daily? Trying to get you lynched, coming on your pages trolling, trying to tell lies and calling you terrorists and all the ignorant stuff and doing all this, that, and the extra? Do they do that? No, they don't. Do you notice that all the trolls that come on my page and others are always white people, members of the Miracle Whip Mafia, no doubt. The ones who send the threatening, ignorant emails and all of that. They're white people. And you know why the white people do that? And you know why the Asian people don't? And the Arabs don't? And the white Hispanics don't? You know why it's the white European people and all of them? I'm glad you asked. You see, because they, the racist white people, the racist ones are demons. They have such low vibrational frequency. They can't rise above it. So they dwell in the bottom, in the pits, in the lowest level of consciousness. And I will tell you about that on another live. I will explain to you in depth the different levels and stages of consciousness. But let me tell you, they operate on the lowest of the low levels. With that all being said, on the lowest level, that's nothing but chaos and confusion and pandemonium. And pandemonium, as I've said, because I told you, I study the etymology of words. Pandemonium, pan meaning all, demon in the middle of the word, meaning demons. Pandemonium, all demons. That is what they are. And what do all demons do? They cause chaos and confusion and sow seeds of discord. And they cannot reside ever in a peaceful environment. So therefore, they have to create pandemonium and chaos. That is why I'm telling you, the Miracle Whip Mafia, the Hellman's crew, the Mayo Clinic, this is why I'm telling you that in fact, they could never live among us in peace. It is their nature to cause and create discord. That is just what they do. That is what they do, people. So with all of that being said, I just want you to recognize and realize this, because we are among a pit of snakes. And though some of those snakes may have no teeth and won't bite, how do you know which is which until they get too close to you and they're just far close enough to bite you, right? So So with that all being said, you can't tell sugar from salt, as I've told you numerous of times. The best thing for us to do is to separate. Let them go their way and we go ours. Don't they, after all, love to tell us and remind us to, in fact, go back to Africa? We don't have to go back to Africa. We can just separate from them here. But you see, they don't really want that, because no matter where we go and what we do, they will always come there to try to sow those seeds of discord, to try to start chaos and confusion. You see, the people in Black Wall Street in 1921, they were all living there by themselves peacefully, minding their own good business. But then here comes the Mayo Clinic to sow seeds of discord. They couldn't just let them people stay there by themselves. They were segregated, but they could not leave them alone. Think about all the people that they killed of our people during segregation. Why were you even around them? They weren't around you, but no, they had to come starting trouble, because this is what they have a history of doing. And the fact that they tried to paint us out to be the worst people on the face of the planet, how anyone foolishly could believe such a ridiculous thing is quite frankly beyond me. Because at the end of the day, we are the most accepting of all people. You see how they have lied so much and done so much dirt and wickedness and put out so much of the Stockholm syndrome and indoctrinated so many people with their BS and lies, even with Christianity. Yes, they have. And I'm not talking down on anyone who's a Black Christian. More power to you. But if you are a Black Christian, I would ask you to not allow your religion to turn you against your own people, to have you looking down on your own people, to have you worshiping and praising a white man called Caesar Borgia, who they present to you as Jesus. The Bible doesn't describe him as being a white man. So please wake up from the slumber, get your mind right, get your mind frame together, and start exercising critical thinking skills, and please start using common sense. And if you cannot do that, then at least try to make it make sense, because the time for sleeping and slumbering and playing foolish games is over. These people are devouring us like a lion to a sheep. Okay? And those of you Black Christians who continue to foolishly keep forgiving them, you're just crazy, in my opinion. They don't even ask for your forgiveness. And if you think that you have to ask or give forgiveness in order for God to be in his good graces, let me remind you, if you read your Bible, and I hope you do, the Bible doesn't say any time in there where the Most High Yah forgave his enemies. Now ask yourself this: did God forgive the Egyptian Pharaoh when he enslaved the Hebrew Israelites? Did he forgive him? No, he did not. He absolutely did not. In fact, he sent the plagues upon them when Pharaoh refused to let his people go, right? So tell me, did he forgive the people of Sodom and Gomorrah? Oh, no, he did not. He sent the angels to destroy them. He allowed Samson to kill the Philistines. So when did God forgive his enemies? In the Bible? But you foolishly think that you have to? Let me tell you something. If you read your Bible, and I hope you do, there is a prayer that David prayed. And you know David was supposed to be a wise man and a righteous man if you read the Bible. So David prayed a prayer to God for his enemies. And you know what that prayer was? It wasn't for them to do well. It was for them to die and for the children to be homeless and famine stricken. That is the prayer that he prayed. You see, you can curse your enemies just as they curse you. And if you don't know that or don't believe that, then you haven't been doing your job. You have not been reading your Bible. All you likely have been doing is going to church, sitting on a pew, and opening your book to any scripture that the pastor says so, and letting the pastor read and dictate to you what the Bible in fact says. But in the Bible, it does say, and I quote, "Study to show thyself approved." So you should, in fact, be studying the Bible for yourself to gain your own understanding, not the understanding of someone who is telling you. Because what you need to start doing is you need to want to be able to tell people what you know, not what you heard. Okay? So with that all being said, family, I'm going to go ahead and close out this broadcast. But remember what I said about getting guns and arming yourself for self-defense, not being vigilantes like Kyle Rittenhouse and all of that foolishness, but simply to arm yourself for protection, right? Because we definitely need it, as you can see. And don't foolishly, any of you Black people, don't foolishly think that it couldn't happen to you. Because in truth, it can happen to any of us, anytime, any day, and anywhere. Because the demons, as I said, they're always on their job 24/7, as you can see by the one that harasses me. So I have to stay on my P's and Q's. Trust and believe, okay? Trust and believe. So that is what we have to do. And also, you need to be preparing for a food shortage. You need to be purchasing non-perishable items. You need to be buying canned goods. You need to buy peanut butter, sardines, tuna. You need to be stocking up on these things now, people, because when I tell you a famine is coming, don't think this is a game. A famine is surely coming. The economy is in the tank. And let me tell you something, what they're not reporting to you and the mainstream media is that Australia is already experiencing it. They're out of rice and other things. The beef markets are closed, okay? Same thing's going on over in China. So with that being said, it will hit here very soon. So you need to be going out here. Those of you who can go to food pantries, I advise you to go there. And you may say, oh, I don't want to go to the food pantry. I have this and that and third. No, if they're giving out free food, you go and get it, okay? You pay your taxes. You work. Our ancestors built this land for free, okay? So with that all being said, if they're giving handouts, you go get yours, okay? Don't let them fool you, because there's rich white folk who go and get food stamps. Yes, there was a story I reported on a few years ago on Facebook where it was a white man driving a $350,000 car. Yes. I'm sorry, no, he was living in a $350,000 house and had a nice car, and he was arrested for welfare fraud. What is he doing getting food stamps? So with that all being said, and also there was an article that just came out months ago that I also reported on here about the Orthodox community in New York. They were the ones who were mostly committing housing fraud, getting things like Section 8. Don't they own everything? I could have sworn they did. So with that all being said, Black people, honey, don't let them talk down on you and tell you that you can't get government benefits. Whatever you get from the government, they owe us. They stole us, they sold us, and now they owe us. In the words of my fellow queen from Fly Leaving Queen, Lioness Crowns. Okay? So please, they can miss us with it. They can miss us with it. All right? So like I said, make sure that you're stocking up on non-perishable items, and you have much of those things in your cupboard. Don't just be going out here buying toilet paper, because guess what? If a famine comes and hits, you can't eat toilet paper, right? Okay? So make sure you stock up on food first. Non-perishable items. Because also there may likely be a power outage. And later on tonight, I know I told you guys this before, later on today rather, I'm going to be discussing with you the coronal mass ejection. I told you about this days ago, and I never got around to it because all this information kept coming in about the Breonna Taylor case. But I really need to discuss that with you guys, because the Black sun is returning soon. And we need to be prepared. And I'm also going to be, thank you, sweetie. Thank you. I'm also going to, yes, that's right, Michael, beans and rice. Absolutely. Absolutely. With that all being said, we need to be preparing for all of the things that are to come. And I'm also going to be discussing with you about Bill Gates blocking out the sun, okay? Because that's all connected to the return of the Black sun. With that all being said, he said their world is over. Soon it will be. Soon it will be, okay? And I want you all to remember something I told you months ago. You know, in the Bible, I told you, in the Bible, much of the Bible is written in allegorical form. And I did a whole thing before talking about the allegories in the Bible. I didn't do all of them because it's a lot, but I did briefly some of it. But I'll go more in depth into that later on down the line. But with that all being said, you know, in the Bible, in allegorical form, it says that when the end days are coming, you will hear the sounds of trumpets. And I keep telling you all, trumpets is allegorical for President Trump and Mike Pence. Trump Pence. That's not a coincidence. It is true. This is the end. And let me tell you, because at the end of the day, they also talk in the same scripture about the mark of the beast, the RFID that shall be in the forehead and in thy right hand. And where do they want to put the RFID chip? According to the bioengineer who invented it, he said in the forehead, right underneath the hairline, and in the right hand. With that being said, you don't think that trumpets is an allegorical form for Trump Pence It absolutely is. And we will be talking about that later on this evening, people. So with that being said, I wish you all peace, love, and prosperity. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please be sure to share this video. This information that Kendrick is divulging needs to be out. And we need for everyone, as many people as possible, to know that his life is threatened, that this man is in danger. So if, God forbid, anything nefarious happens to him, there will be a record of it, and we will all know exactly who to look for. Okay? So we can aid in whatever we need to do, because this is getting serious. Well, it's already gotten serious as far as I'm concerned. But with that all being said, please share this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, click the notification bell and click the word all so that you are in fact notified each time that I go live. And those of you who watch me on Fly Nubian Queen TV, .com for the morning show that are on here, please inform your friends and family and whomever else that you know that watches me on that network in the morning that I'm on here in the mornings, okay, on my own channel, the Queen Ahmadiyah Shakur Show. Don't forget that you can follow me on Instagram at Queen Ahmadiyah Shakur and on Twitter at DGoddess27. So I will be right back in a little bit, family. Maybe around, I'm going to say around noon, I'll be doing another live, okay? And maybe then I'll talk about the corona mass ejection. But with that all being said, you all enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.